Thank you very much, John. I'm Julie Humphreys. I'm Head of Comms at Origin Housing, and today I'm at the Somerstown, which is where most of our housing is, and I'm at the People's Museum, where I'm going to chat to Diana a little bit more about some of the history. I'm a bit nervous today, taking over from Rory, because he did such a good job, but I'm going to give it a go. So, as I come over, Somerstown is basically in between Euston and King's Cross, and Diana is the founder of the People's Museum. So, Diana, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise. It's nice to sort of, it's nice to have you all half term, and we're running a bit of a youth programme. But the museum started, I guess actually, it started out of a history club, and I live here, and I got quite bothered by what was happening in the area in terms of like the developments surrounding Somerstown. It's essentially social housing, and essentially big part of that is what was called the St Pancras Housing Association, which then became Origin, which is now going to be Places for People. And that housing is just brilliant. I was very inspired by it, and I was basically involved in some sort of community activism trying to preserve the area, and it seemed to me that history was the way to do it, to preserve the social housing, because this is an area, central London, land value is very high. People were sort of feeling like, what's going to happen to us? What's going to happen to the housing? Is it going to survive in a London that's changing so rapidly? So really it came out of that impetus to set up the museum. And the museum opened in 2022, but it really arose out of this project. And I felt there was a need to preserve the social housing. So I think there's a more important purpose to this museum, even though it's tiny and it's cluttered, as you can see. And Origin and Julie have really helped us. We did the Basil Jellicoe, we did an Irene Barclay plaque, we did a heritage trail, which we can walk
Diana,
up the street.
I want you to go into a little bit more detail about Gilbert and Heritage Trail.
Gilbert Bays, right? Gilbert Bays, as you can see from these ceramics on my shelf, and I have to say we're a tiny museum. He was a sculptor, very famous if you know the Selfridges clock in Oxford Street. Selfridges has a massive clock, this woman of, lots of nautical themes, which are reflected in the estates here. So actually what you see is ships, tailors. Each estate had a courtyard, each flats. So like you'd have St Francis and they'd have the tailors, you'd have ships, you'd have in St Christopher's there was blackbirds from the poem Sing a Song of Sixpence, 4 and 20 blackbirds. So, and these beautiful objects were actually stolen and ending up at auction. I became kind of incensed about this loss of heritage, which was actually the people's heritage and should belong in the estates. There's about 160, I estimate, missing. And the ones that are there are replicas. And we do walks around them. And we also produced a heritage trail in the last 2 years and got an artist to recreate a sort of contemporary version of these, what are called finials. The finial just means an object on top of a post. And we're sort of working on that. And our current exhibition's that. And then we got an app together, and you can walk along and see where these things would have been, and it tells the story. And that has been, I think, for me, that's a kind of more important project because it's in the public realm, it's in the street, even than the museum. It's kind of, because it's there forever. But I think it's important. And I think it's important for people to have a sense of belonging and to kind of recognise what went on in this area. It's not like something to be rubbed out by all the developments. And it seems to me the developers want to impose a different narrative, a narrative of change and regeneration, and which is all good, but you have to remember the past and how it helped poor people. This, to me, is really unique. And what we've got in this little patch is so special, and it's worth remembering, and it's worth celebrating. And I just hope the museum lasts and survives, as does the Heritage Trail. Yeah.
Okay, can I steal my mic back? Thank you very much, Diana. It's been an
Martha,
absolute pleasure.
Stop talking.
Not at all. It's been an absolute pleasure. So for anybody that comes down and the colleagues, take part in a Heritage Trail, pop into the museum. Diana and her colleagues be happy to welcome you. Thank you very much. Back to the studio, John.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much. That was brilliant. Yeah.